So how does the number of triangles formed by the diagonals relate to the number of sides? So we always have 2 less triangles are formed than the number of sides. So key concepts for this lesson. So we've been looking at all the different shapes and how the exterior angles always add up to 360. For a polygon with n sides, so here's a little formula that we could use. If a polygon has n sides, the sum of the interior angles in degrees is 180 times n minus 2. So for example, if we had 29 sides, and that's actually pretty hard to draw, 29 sides, we would do 180 to find out what the interior angles add up to. We do times 29 minus 2. So I think you guys know that it would just be 180 times 27. And then that would give us 4,860. So isn't that cool? You can think, oh, any sided figure, I could tell you what all of the angles add up to on the inside. All of the angles on the outside would still add up to 360. So example 1, how many sides does a polygon have if the sum of its interior angles is 2,160? So that's a little bit backwards. They're telling us what the final amount is, what the final sum of the interior angles is. So we kind of know that the answer is 2,160. If we use our little formula that looks like this, or if you just try and think of this going backwards, okay, 2,160, I've got to divide it by 180. So this is just how you would just think this through in your head. I have to divide it by 180. And once I divide it by 180, I'm going to end up with the number of triangles that you have. So if I know the number of triangles, I'm going to have to then add 2 to that answer to get the number of sides. So this is sort of just how you'd think it through in your own head. Using the formula, we would take the 2,160 and we could divide it by 180, because I could divide both sides by 180 so that they'd cancel on this side here. And then 2,160 divided by 180 is 12. But I would have to add 2 to that. So 12 triangles plus 2 would be the number of sides. So I would get 14 sides. But again, if you don't want to use this formula to do it, I think you can use common sense. You just divide by 180 because that's how many triangles there are. But then you have to remember to add 2, and that's maybe hard to remember to get the number of sides. So how many sides does a polygon have if each of its interior angles measures 140? What's a good way to do this? There's a couple of ways to do this. If you know the interior angle measures 140, what would the exterior measure be? I'd have to add up to 180, so I'm thinking it'd have to be 40 degrees. And 360 divided by 40 degrees is 9. So we've got 9 sides. Another way is that we could look at 140 times the number of sides is going to equal 180 times n minus 2, and we could use the formula for this as well. So 140 n equals, I could use distributive property here, 180 n minus 360. I could collect like terms on the left side and then divide both sides by negative 40. And I get 9. And then example 3, last one, a regular polygon has exterior angles that each measure 30. How many sides does it have? So very similar to what I was thinking up here. If I had 360 and I divide it by 30 degrees this time, I get 12. So I know the polygon must have 12 sides.